Hey, what's going on? Today is Sunday, March 1st, and let me tell you something. There's a lot going on in the world, right? And there's a lot going on in your world, and for sure there's a lot going on in my world. So today what I want to do is I want to share with you what's happening in my life and what's been brewing in my mind for some time. So I've been thinking a lot lately, and I've been thinking about how do I see myself in my present state, okay? Where do I want to see myself 2 years from now? Where do I want to see myself even next year, 3 years from now, 4 years from now? So I'm starting to lay out this groundwork on where I want to be and how I'm going to get there. So basically, I have been getting some guidance from people that I admire. I've been doing some studying on YouTube and reading, getting some ideas of how to lay out this plan, the plan that I have for my life to become the person that I want to become, the better version of myself, the physical better version of myself, the spiritual better version of myself, the financial better version of myself, how to be financially free, how to be physically free, how to be physically fit. So I've been laying out a plan on how I'm going to get there, the things I have to do to get there. So first part of my plan was to clear out all the noise that's around me. So there's a lot of noise, whether it's coming from friends or family or life or the news and all these things. I've been cleaning things up and just kind of clearing all the noise out my life, trying to get centered. Also in business, right? I have some chaotic things going on in business. I have businesses that are leaking and losing money and things like that. I've been cleaning up those plates and laying out a plan of success for my businesses moving forward. Also been laying out a plan for the businesses moving forward, a plan that includes, but not limited to, includes not only restructuring them, making them more successful, and possible selling them if I cannot find the best and the right teams to run them, because a business owner should have a business that he runs, not that runs him. So basically, I've been laying out that plan and how I'm going to get there and what the future looks like if I need to sell my businesses, okay? At the same time, I'm laying out the foundation of what this whole social media and YouTube and all these things are about, because there's so much to learn, right? There's so many people that are exploring these ideas on YouTube in all kinds of ages, and they're, some people are finding success and happiness and freedom within this space. And you know what? It takes a lot to learn, right? And it takes a lot of bravery and a lot of, just putting yourself out there, right? So I've been exploring the idea for a little while, and now I'm starting to have a better understanding of what I can do with it, what the goals are, how I can use it for my advantage towards my businesses, towards my family, towards my personal life, my personal happiness. So I've been laying out that plan on how to use social media, how to use YouTube in my life to better my life, to better the things that I want to do for myself. So I've laid out a plan, and this plan includes 5 pillars of success, right? So I laid out 5 pillars of success on the things that are my core being and how these things guide my life, guide my mind, guide my thoughts, and guide my path moving forward, so that I could actually have a plan with some fixed pillars in place that don't allow me to be shaken, right? The first pillar that I have in my life is spiritual faith, right? Because without spiritual faith, I'm kind of like wandering around and we're kind of lost, right? You could say maybe in your opinion, that's not your opinion. But in my opinion, without spiritual faith, we're just kind of just roaming the earth and we're not connected to our spiritual father. So number one core of my pillar is my spiritual faith, right? That's the center of all things for me, the center of what makes me me, right? Not a perfect me. I'm not a perfect person. And I have so many mistakes that I make on a daily basis in my spiritual walk, but that's okay, because that's between me and that's between God, right? The second physical pillar in my life is the commitment to my physical well-being. God gave me this body. And you know what? I should take care of it. And I should make this body the best version it can be. I remember when I was a teenager living in New York City, and I used to do like all these pull-ups and dips on the monkey bar and push-ups and just walk around with this amazing physique, and how I used to feel going to the beach looking really good. And then over time, over the years, as life happens, you know, you go up in weight, you go down in weight, you get muscles, you lose muscles. And that's just a lack of commitment, right? So I decided that the second pillar of my life, the second pillar that makes me me, is the commitment to my physical well-being, being the best version of myself in my physical, right? So I got my spiritual, I got my physical, and then the third is my mind, the mindset, the way I think, how I see things, right? How my mind will help me stay focused in my thinking, renewing my mind to the things that I hold value to. So spiritual is my first, my physical is my second, and then is my mind, so my mindset. The fourth pillar of my life, okay, will be my family, starting with my son. I am a father. My son is 12 years old. And within all that, the fourth thing of my life is my son, my family, those who I love, right? The fifth is my business. Business is fifth. Why? I'm a businessman. I've always have been, and I've had, like I said, successful businesses, businesses that fail. I've made mistakes. I've made money. I lost money. And that is the fifth pillar of what makes me me, right? I'm not the guy that just goes around working for others. I'm the guy that actually creates opportunities, right? So I've been in the physical world of business, meaning brick and mortar. I've held, you know, whether it's a store or a cafe or construction company, I've always had to been present in my businesses, and my businesses are successful when I'm around, right? So I want to change that, right? So business, if I'm going to have a business, it needs to be able to function without me, because then it's not really a business, it becomes like a job. And that's not what I open a business for, to have another job. I open a business to give opportunity to others, also for it to bless me and give me the freedom that I want to be able to create other things and move around and do the things that make me happy. So I got my spiritual faith, I got my physical, I got my mindset, I got my family, and I have my business. Those are the 5 pillars of my life, the 5 pillars that move me forward, right? So moving forward, I would like to share with you, my audience, and the public and the world, my spiritual life, right? The things that I believe, the things that I think about, how I communicate with God, you know? So I will share that openly. I will also share my physical, how I treat my body, how I eat, and how, you know, why I make these choices, and how I'm going to get my body from where it is today to where I want it to be, right? Wouldn't it be nice to just have a nice gladiator body, right? Like just ripped, like a beautiful, ripped, nice, clean body. It would just feel so good when you're in your clothes. It would feel good when you just like take off your shirt. It just feels good. So that commitment I would like to share with you as I go on this journey, because maybe it would inspire you, right? Maybe you're in a journey that you have to renew your mind, you have to renew your spirit, you have to renew your physical, renew your commitment to your family, renew your commitment to your business, to your work, to your job, whatever it is. Maybe this would inspire you, and we take this journey together, okay? So then my mindset, I would like to share with you my thinking and how I think and why I think this way, and how I learned to think, from whether it's through studies, through reading, through, you know, watching others that have gone before me, more successful people, and their thinking and how it connects with my thinking. So, you know, I like to share my mindset. And, you know, obviously, I like to share about my family, because sharing about your family, it allows you into the world, into my world. It allows me to be truthful and open with you. And then I would like to share about my business, right? My business, a lot of things happen on a daily basis. You know, I never thought that my business would be interesting to anybody, right? But to be honest, in my business, I help people every single day solve problems. They come to me with needs, ideas, wants. I help them refine ideas. I help them design things. I help them create spaces that bring happiness to their life. I help them how to spend their money wisely when it comes to doing business with me, because I believe that if you pay for something, you should get what you pay for, right? So I help people, and I didn't know that my business could be interesting to other people, but it is, you know. So I will be sharing those things. These will be the 5 pillars that move me forward to the next phase of my life. I've done so many changes in the past 2 years. I mean, it's been a radical change for me to be able to kind of restructure on how I think, how I see the future, how I see physical businesses. I thought that one day I would just sell my businesses, have money, and like do all these type of things. But you know what? We never stop working. People that love working, we never stop working. So I would like to just change the way I do work, change the way I make money. I know there's easier ways to make money, and I'm going to explore that, and I'm going to find out, and I'm going to see myself in the future making money a whole lot easier than I do now, right? So, you know, there's a lot of changes. There was been changes when I went through my divorce, how to, you know, still hold my ex-wife dear to my life and, you know, help her and take care of my family and my commitments, and, you know, bring my son through that whole process without hurting him, and you know, but also being true to myself, admitting my mistakes. It's been a lot of changes, you know. I tried to sell my house because I just don't need a house anymore. I got simpler places to live. You know, I have a studio that I can live at. I have a 1-bedroom apartment that I can live at. I mean, I want to be able to move around freely, not carry all this weight of all these extra bills, you know. I have physical real estate that I know there's better ways to manage them. You know, there are people that are smarter ways, that know things that I don't know. It's my job to explore these ideas and how to move my money around. Right now, I got money physically stuck in properties, and, you know, I don't exactly know how to move them, and, you know, how that can benefit me. So these are things I have to learn and things that I want to explore. I want to travel a lot more like I used to and be free from that. Whether I want to go away for a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, I want to be able to do that. So these are things that I've laid out a foundation, 5 pillars to help me get to those places that I want to be. So thank you anyway for being part of this and for sharing, allowing me to share my ideas, my thoughts. And moving forward, I will be kind of breaking down things on a daily basis so that we can connect. And the whole purpose of connecting is for inspiration, right? I'm in the business of helping people. I like to help you learn from me. I like to help you maybe change the way you think, the way you see things, the way you see your job, the way you see your business. Maybe you're struggling in business as I have been struggling for the past few years. And maybe it's time for you to take hold of your situation and move your situation forward. So I would share on how I'm doing it. Maybe that would inspire you, right? Maybe you're a dad and you will be inspired by me, you know, having a commitment to my family, right? Even to his mom, my ex-wife. I have a commitment to her for her happiness, and maybe you would be inspired to think different and then treat your ex-wife differently, so your child can benefit from that relationship, right? So I'm in the business of helping people. I'm in the business of helping you see things another way, changing your thoughts, your ideas, your mind. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in my life, and I'm really grateful to be here because it is a good time to reflect. The world is changing, everything is changing, and we need to change with it, right? Or we're left behind. So that we don't want to do, because one thing I do know is people that don't do anything about their situation, they just basically stuck in their situation, you know, and that's just not cool, right? It's not cool to be stuck in a situation where you're just not happy. And you know that, right? So if you physically, you know, don't like yourself, right, your body, and you don't physically change it, then, you know, you're going to live in a body you just don't like. you know, and the physical you don't like. You look at the mirror, you don't see what you used to see. And that doesn't feel good, you know? If your thinking always stays the same, you know, like my dad being stuck in his thinking forever, it's just sad, you know? And we don't need to do that. Our thinking could evolve. Our thinking could move forward. Our thinking could, you know, could change. Our ideas can change, right? We don't have to stay thinking the same. We don't have to think as our parents thought. We don't have to think like our family. We don't have to think like our friends, right? We can think different. We can see things different. So, you know, I help people in their thinking. So I can inspire that, you know. People inspire me in how I change my thinking. So this is the journey that I want to take with you. And I hope that in this journey, it will physically, mentally, and spiritually help you as I'm also exploring, learning physically, mentally, and spiritually, growing through this process. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I hope that our journey together will be a journey of growth and a journey that will be a blessing for you and a blessing for me. And I thank you. Have a great day.